Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Sunny, your host for this particular session, and in this video we are going to explore that how you can set up your own PC to create any kind of project. Like it can be Python project, or it can be a machine learning or deep learning projects. Okay, so we will need certain software, so we will try to explore all of them. Okay, we will try to download and install in this PC. So right now I'm using Windows 11, as you can see. So here the first software that we are going to install is about Anaconda. So normally Anaconda is nothing but it's a distribution, okay, which will help you to, like, if I can show you here. So it's nothing but it's an open source package and environment management system that can run on these three operating system. It is applicable equally to Windows, Mac OS and Linux. Okay, and it also comes up with some Anaconda repository where it will have almost like most of the commonly used packages which you will be using, that will come by default if you install Anaconda. And apart from that, you will also have an Anaconda navigator, that is nothing but it's kind of user interface which is provided for the users who are a beginner in this field, right? But like all of, if I talk about like these facilities, so as a developer I do not use this Anaconda navigator as of now. Like I normally use this conda. Okay, so I just need this lightweight installation. Okay, so for that there is an alternative which is Miniconda. So this is it's a free minimal installer for conda, and it will just it will get installed into your like command prompt, where from where you can access, or even if you are using git bash terminals, so from there also you can like an access conda. Okay, and I think for our any of our projects this is more than enough. Okay, so now as per your choice, if you want to install Anacondas you can, because if I can show you here, so you will on the when you will scroll up, so you will see that it is almost about 594 MB, right? And if I try to download a Miniconda, so it will be around 71 to 72 MB. So there is a lot of space saving you will have here, and apart from that you will get almost all the basic functionality that you need. So let's go for Miniconda. Okay, now if I download Miniconda and Anaconda installer both, so the steps that is required to install them is going to be the same. Okay, so let me show you for the Miniconda one. I will just click on for the Windows, and it is a 64-bit operating system. Most of the new operating system and PCs are 64-bit, so I will just choose this one. Okay, so it will ask me to download it into download section. So let's download it. So as you can see, it is just 71.2 MB. Okay, so let me first of all install this. I will just click on it. So as you can see on the screen, this will pop up. So let me zoom in slightly. Okay, so I will just click on the next button here, and I will just click on I agree. So again, for just me, I will just leave it as to recommended input. Okay, so now after that it will ask me to put on to certain location, so I will just leave it to the default. Normally it gets installed into your C drive and in user section, and then in your username. After that it will simply create a Miniconda 3 folder where it will be installing all the basic like packages. So let me go to the next section, and here this is the most important step. So I will ask you to add this to your path variable or path environment variable. It is just because so that you can access Anaconda or Miniconda or conda prompt, I can say, from anywhere. Okay, so it can be accessed from anywhere in this system. That means you don't have to use just Anaconda prompt to work with conda. Okay, so it can be invoked from git bash, it can be invoked from like even like a PowerShell as well, right? So for that is why it is, even though they will warn you that okay, it's not recommended, but I will say that you can go for it. And one more disclaimer: if you already have installed Python, just Python from python.org, so I will recommend you to remove that and also remove it from your environment variable. Okay, and if you have not done anything like that, so you can like ignore this step. So now you can simply click on install. So it will just quickly install the packages. Okay, Anaconda packages, the lightweight or the minimal installation it will do. Okay, it will just take a very less amount of time, not much. Okay, so let's wait till then. Okay, so it's finished now, so I can just simply click next, and it will ask me to to visit some like their distribution tutorial or getting started with Anaconda. So if you want, you can explore this, but I know this don't need as of now, so I can just click on finish. Okay, so this finishes my installation. Okay, and now what I will do is, like, just to verify, I will just open a command prompt. Okay, so as you can see, when I open the command prompt, so it's not showing anything yet. So Let me zoom in a bit. So here we can, first of all, let's try activating conda. Conda activate base. This is what the first command you can run just to check. So if it works, if this base comes in front of it, of your prompt, so that means it is now activated. Okay, so normally what happens in like what is the meaning of this environment is that, so let's say if you're working on several projects, so those projects can be having a dependency upon different Python version. So Anaconda or Miniconda can actually help you to manage those environments, right? So it can have an isolated environment for all of those specific Python versions. So in this way, the dependency issue will not happen. That means, let's say if you are just working on let's say if you are just using Python only, right? And in that case, like what happened, like let's say you have installed something. Let's say you have installed NumPy today, then after 6 or 7 months you will install NumPy again. So you will see that you will actually upgrade your previous NumPy. Okay, so that will be the problem. So like different projects can have a different dependency and different version of software. So that is why, to isolate all of this, okay, to provide, like to avoid any kind of dependency issues, we can simply like use Anaconda. So let me show you with one example. So let's say right now we can just check here by running this command, that pip list. So it will tell me that, okay, what are the things which are already installed in this particular like in this particular environment. So you can see these are the by default packages which are present in this one. Now let's say if I want to create any other environment, right? So I will just simply say that conda create -n, that is the name and short for the name. Okay, and here I will just give the environment, let's say env1, that is the name of my environment. And if I say the Python version, so Python is equals to, let's say I will go for 3.8, and then -y here means that I will accept the changes. Okay, so let me show you that if I don't do this, so it will actually ask me to accept the changes by pressing Y, and if I provide Y here, so it will automatically do the rest of the jobs. So let me do it for now in this way. Okay, so as you can see here, since I have activated this command, so it will just search for Python 3.8 version, and again you can see it is asking me, right? So it is asking me that, okay, I will be installing all these things, and in this you can see one of the packages is 3.8.13, that is the package that is going to install. So I will just click yes here, just type yes and then press enter. So it will simply start installing those Python versions, okay, Python packages. So it will just take some time depending upon your like net connections. So let's wait. So now as you can see, once it is done, so it will also tell you the command, so you can simply activate it by conda activate env1. But before we do that, so let's check what is the specific Python version that we have. So for that, the command is python space -- version. So if I just check, so it says that right now in this base environment I am having 3.9.12. now let's activate the environment. Okay, so conda activate env1. okay, so this is let's say this is the environment for my like it's for the, let's say, new project. So if I just do this, so you will see the prompt in front of it, that is earlier it was base, now it has changed to env1. So that means now I'm in this particular environment. So if I want to check the things which are installed into this, first of all, so I can just run pip list. So you will see these are the very minor things are installed into this, okay, as compared to the previous pip list that we have seen in the base environment case. Now also if I just verify the Python version, so you will see it is going to be 3.8.13. so in this way you can say you can see clearly that in the same computer you can maintain different Python version by using this conda. Okay, so in this way for several different projects I can maintain different environment and I can work on them. Okay, and if you are the first time user, so you will probably want to see my other videos where you will get to understand that, okay, how you can run Python projects. Okay, so I will recommend one of the playlists at the end of this like video. So this was the basic information about environment and installation of Miniconda. So the next step what we will do is we will just, let's close it. Let's first of all start talking about GitHub. Okay, so github.com is actually, and let me also zoom out a bit. So github.com is nothing but, it's one of the, like you can say remote, you can say drive kind of thing, where we try to store our normally the code. Okay, so as you can see, this is my profile. So as you can see here, there are repositories. That means these are nothing but the project repositories. So you can see one of them is ipynb renderer. So let's open this. Okay, so you will see this is how I can maintain my code base. So if I click like if I can show you here, so you will see that this is containing all my code base for this specific project. Now there are few things that is noticeable here. So you can see that it is also on the top left, you will see there is a main. So this is called as branches that we have. Branches means that, let's say if you have number of ideas that you want to implement, okay, and you are not sure that it should be a part of project, so you can create one branch, and on that branch you will start working. Okay, you will start working, or that means you will start working on a code, new code. And when you realize that, okay, it is totally fine, that it will actually can be a good idea to add it into your main, that means add it into your main project, so you can merge that specific branch into your main branch. So main branch is actually the most, you can say, active branch, or you will say that it is the it is where you should do the final check-in. That means final code should be uploaded into this particular branch. Okay, but if you are not able to understand as of now, so it's not a problem. Like, let's first of all understand that what GitHub can do more, what it can do for you. So now you can see the more other things that you should, that is noticeable here is like this 37 commits. Okay, so that means, what is the meaning of this? This meaning is that at these specific commits and these messages that you see, these are called as commit messages. So this means that you have done minor changes, or you have done certain changes at that point of time, and you have like you have marked that as a by passing this statement, so that you can understand that, okay, what was going on into that point of time. So let's say if I ask you about this one, that is integration and unit test done. Let's say if I click on this one, so at that specific instance you will see that whatever changes that I have done, I can see into different files. So let's say this is a file test site.py. So whatever changes has been done here, at that point it was reflected as green. Okay, so let me show you a few more example. So let's go back again, and let's say update setup.py is one of the key area. So if I let's, you can see there, the red means that I have deleted this change, or green means that I have updated. So I have updated from 0.0.1 version to 0.0.2 version. That is the meaning of it. Now if you want to see this side by side, so you can click on split on the right hand side. So you will see that simultaneously it will be appearing. So this on the left hand side is the previous version, and the right hand side it is the current version at that specific time. Now, and you can see it is also will be able to track your that when this was done. It was done 16 days ago. Okay, now if you want to at that specific time 16 days ago, you want to see that, okay, how your code base looked like, so you can click on browse file. So you will be able to see that, okay, at that specific time how the like how was your repository like. So you can even browse at that specific instance that how your entire code base was. So that means it is what GitHub is doing. It is as GitHub is actually trying to maintain the history of the project. Okay, so it is how it is trying to maintain. It is trying to maintain with the help of these commit messages. So for the same reason, we will try to use GitHub. So if you have not done any GitHub, like if you have never created any account on this one, so let me show you that how you can do it. So for that, I will just go to github.com. Okay, and don't worry, I will put all these links into the description. Okay, so here in the github.com, I will just click on sign up. Okay, so once you click on this, so this will be, again, it's a demo account for you, just to show you. So I will write my demo email ID. So demo c17hawke@gmail.com. So this will be my Gmail ID. Okay, it's a demo Gmail ID. So let's now click on continue. So it will ask me to enter the password. So let me write a password here. So once you will write like at least 15 characters, and it should have at least 8 characters. That is the max. So make sure that you have these number of fulfillment. Okay, so it should have number and lowercase letters, and if it can have a special character, so this will tell you that, okay, whether the password is strong or not. So I can now click on continue. Now it will ask me to write my username. So let's write the same, the demo c17hawke. Okay, and then I will continue. Okay, it says that it is unavailable. So let's say we can do what? We can write press dot here. Okay, so that means we can even use underscore. Okay, it is not even allowing. So we can, let's say, demo c17hawk001. So this is available. So we will use this as a username, and I will now click on continue. So now it says that would you like to receive product updates and announcement via email? So you can choose yes or no. I will just select N here as of now, because I don't want that as of now. So I will just click on continue. Now it says that you need to solve this puzzle. Okay, so it can be different for every one of you. So it is right now, it is asking me to choose a spiral galaxy. So as you can see here, we have a spiral galaxy, and one done. And similarly I will just select for this spiral galaxy, and that's all. So that means my account is verified as of now. So I will just click on create account. So once I do this, it will actually send me some it will simply send me like launch code. So let's go back to my inbox. So it should show me. So you will see that it is having a launch code here. So it says that 21247838. So let me enter this 21247838. So this is your verification code, and now it is says that welcome to GitHub. So now it will ask you that how many team members you will have. So you can just click on just me, and what are you. So you can just select just student, and it will ask for a lot of personalization. So I can, as of now, I will just skip this personalization. So once you leave it, so you will get something like this. So this will be your first page whenever you will come to your repository for the first time, or whenever you will create an account for the first time. So you will see something like this. Okay, so this is about the github.com. So now we will start creating the repositories. Okay, and we can now to work on that, either we can even do this here itself, or we can even clone them locally as well, right? So let me show you that how you can clone them locally. So first of all, let's create a repository. So as you can see on this screen also, it is giving you some option, but this will be the first time that you will see, but later on these will disappear. Okay, but I will suggest you, like, if you are going for the first time, so you can even read this about. So but as of now, let's click on the extreme right side. You will see on top right side there will be a plus button. So in this one I can just click on new repository here. Okay, so it will ask me certain things that, okay, what is this repository about? So let's call it as a demo only, and you can add some optional description if you want. Okay, so you can say this is for our demo, and let it be a public repository or private, it's up to you. So right now I'm creating a public repository so that it can be visible to most of the people. Now after that I can add a readme. That means, what does it mean is that you need to actually add like a readme file which will tell you about the project. So let me show you in my repository, actual GitHub. So you will see then this Jupyter notebook renderer. So it tells you that this is readme.md is going to appear here, and which tells the basic information about that specific project, right? So I can add it. Okay, so by default, next comes the add git ignore. So what git ignore does is, like, there will be certain files like secrets files which you don't want, and then settings which you don't want to appear on some public repository or public platform, so that you can ignore in this case. So it also comes up with a template. So let's say we are working for a Python project, so I will just select Python. Okay, then after that you can choose a license. It is up to you. So you can just select any general purpose license or MIT license. So I will just choose MIT license. Okay, it's nothing but it is actually you are giving some like clarification, or you can giving some license under which you are you're allowing your repository to be used, okay, under this particular license. Okay, this will actually have some permission and some which you can explore it later. So with this we can create a repository. Okay, so now you will have this kind of repository in front of you where you will have 3 files into it. Now let's say if you want to upload any file, so you can have this option here, add file, and you can upload files. Let's click on this, and you can add something from your local browser, or you can even drag and drop as well. And then once it is done, so you can just click on commit changes, and it will be uploaded after that. Now after this we can simply, if you want to see a replica of this, we can even clone it locally as well. Okay, so to do that we need certain tool again. Okay, so we need some through the command line if you want to do it. So you have to have git installed in your local system as well. Okay, so let me show you that how it can be done from there. So for that I will use now I will just show you the installation of git. Okay, so git scm is, again, it's another tool which will help you to version control your system locally. Version controlling means that and same thing that I have shown you, right? Like creating a different snapshot of the same repository over the different timeline, okay, time instances. So like the way I have shown you in my repository first example. So now as you can see I'm on Windows, so I will just simply click on download for Windows. If you are on any other platform, so you can choose for it. Normally what happens, like on Ubuntu or any of the Linux system, it will be already available, and in Mac OS it may not be. So you can use Homebrew to install git. Okay, so for that the steps will be simply like brew, install, and then git. Now since we are on Windows, So, and we are using a 64-bit operating system, so I will just choose the 64-bit git Windows setup. Okay, it's a standalone installer, so I will just simply download it. Okay, so it will ask me to download it, so let's click and save here. So it's a very like a very small file. Okay, so I will just click on it and let's do the installation now. Okay, so it will ask me the do you want to allow this app to make changes into your device? Yes, I will click on that, and this dialog box will appear. So let me zoom in. So again, we can leave most of the things as default only. Let's click on next. So it says that this folder already exists, so we can override that anyway. Okay, if you have already installed, so it may appear that okay, it is already there. So now we can make a check here. So let's check for the Windows updates, like for the updates whenever git for the updates. Okay, and also you can add it to a git bash profile to Windows terminal if you are using a Windows terminal. That is again another piece of software which you can install later. Now you can just click on next here. So it will again it will simply put a shortcut into your into your start menu folder. So that is why it is asking. So let's click on next, and now again I will leave it to this next, and here you can see there's a catch. Okay, so what you can do is if you leave it to the default, so whenever you will initialize any git repository, so it will be initialized by the name branch name, like name of the branch will be master. Okay, but you will see that in GitHub I just showed you that that I was showing you the main branch. Okay, so that convention changed a few like recently only. So where like earlier we used to call it as a master branch, now we call it as a main branch. Okay, so this convention has changed. So we can just select on this option, override the default branch to main, or for the new repositories. So I'll click next, again I will click next, again next, again I will leave it as it is. Okay, that's all. Again I think we can just keep on browsing further, because like most of the things we can leave it to the default. Only thing that I wanted to focus is on that part, that is about like main branch override instead of calling it as master. So now click on install. So it will simply start installing it. Okay, so we can wait for a moment till then it gets finished. So as you can see, it is now done. If you want to see the release notes, so you can, otherwise you can untick it and click on finish. Okay, so now once we have downloaded it, so we can just now, let me first of all zoom out, and now what we will do is we will first of all, since we have downloaded the git and we have also installed it locally, so first thing that you should always do is set up the global username and your email ID, right? So for that you should first of all just go to the start menu and just click on these git bash. Okay, so let's let it open, and let me make it slightly larger, as well as I will just slightly zoom in as well, so that you guys can see the changes that is being done here. Yeah, so you can see here right now there is no environment activated, and also, and as I told you that okay, we will be setting our username and profile. So first of all, for that the command is git config, then we can use global, and after that we will simply say that user dot email is what is my username and email. So I can just mention here that it is like in this case we will be using demo, and then we had, I think it's demo.c17hawke. So let's again verify this. So you can just simply click it here and it should show that demo.c17hawk. So that is the exact email ID we have, c17hawk@gmail.com. Then after that we need, since once it is set, so after this we can again go for the user name. Okay, so it was 001, right? C17hawk user, and you should change it to name. So this will be my username, right? So if I just enter, so it will set my global user email and the username. Okay, so why it is needed? Because whenever you will make a commit, so the system or this like the git should know that who is the user who is making the commits. Okay, because in the same project there will be a multiple user that can work together, so we should know that okay, who has done the changes. Okay, so that it will be easier for us to resolve any issue if it appears later. So now as you can see that we have set this basic setup is done. Now let me clear the screen, and now what we can do is, let's see first of all where we are. So for that the command is pwd, that means present working directory. So it will tell you that okay, yes, you are at the user level. So we can now from here, let's go to the desktop. Okay, so cd desktop is a command for that, that is change directory to desktop. Now here we will create one directory called as let's call it as a demo directory. And in this directory, so for that again the command is make directory mkdir. Now we will cd to this demo directory. Okay, so you can see that this prompt is also changing. Okay, so where you are, it is telling you. Now let's clear the screen again. So now what we can do is we will first of all, let's try to clone that repository locally. That means whatever repository, demo repository that we have built. So to clone this, we need this. We can click on this code button here, and I will just copy this particular path. Okay, and again I will go back to my same terminal, and I will simply write a command called as git clone, and I can just mention this. I'll just simply paste the so for that I can just right click and paste. Okay, so once I do, I will now simply click. Okay, I think there is an extra h came, so make sure that we are not entering a wrong wrong URL. Okay, so now if I just press enter, okay, so I think I made a mistake somewhere. So what we can do is again we can write git clone, and then let's do a paste here, so it's perfect. Now press enter, so you can see it is cloning demo. And okay, so there is some warning here that you are getting. This may be a possibility, so let's check if we have done it or not. So there is a folder which got created. Let's look into the demo folder. For that we can just write ls, that is list the files which are there in that. So you can see we already have these two files which are present. Okay, so, but right now you can see that it is not actually showing you that what are the other files which are present into that. Okay, so for that I can just simply write ls -al, that means show me all the files, all the hidden files into the demo folder. So again I will just check. So you can see that it is showing me that there is a .git folder which actually keeps the trace locally, and apart from that you will see that it is also showing me the git ignore file which was there into your remote repository. So you can see that we can have a copy of these files, right? So I will now go to again cd to this demo directory which got created here. Okay, now once I entered into here, so you can see the prompt has changed to main, right? So what is the meaning of this? The meaning says that we are now into the main branch of that particular repository. So there is a possibility that you can do the editing of the code in the command line itself, but that is again not a like recommended way. So for that what I will do is now I will simply download a VS Code, which is nothing but a code editor, which we will be using it to edit our code base. Okay, so for that this link is there, that is code.visualstudio.com. so I will go there, and it will recommend me that you can download a stable build for Windows. Since I'm on Windows, I will just click on that and I will install it. So like it will ask me to install location, so I will just click on save here. So it is not that very huge file. It's a very lightweight code editor which we can use. So now let's click on this to install it. So it will again pop up. Okay, so you can see that it is now a dialog box came up. So let me zoom in again. So I will just click on the accept changes, and then I will click on next. After this I will let it install at the wherever is the default location. I will let it to install there. I'll just click on next, and again I will add it to the start menu folder. Let's click next. Now here I will suggest you to just click on these, add it to the add this option, open with code option into Window Explorer. Whenever you do a right click and in any of the folders, so you will get this option, that open with VS Code or open with code option. So that is a good to have. So I had just selected that, and even if you have not done so, there could be other alternatives, but if you have done it, then it is totally fine. So let's click on the next button, and we can just simply install it. So it will just take few moment of time, and it will simply install it. Okay, so you can see that it is asking me to launch the Windows. I will just Visual Studio Code. So I will just untick it, and let's click finish. Okay, so now what I will do is, let me also close this this git bash. Okay, now again let me just go to my home directory. Okay, go to my desktop. So in the desktop you will see I have already created one folder, that is demo. Okay, inside that we will have a demo folder again. So inside that we have the respective project files. Okay, so let me zoom out a bit also. Yeah, so here we are on this we have this demo folder open. So now what I will do is I will simply right click here, and then I will either you can see open in terminal is optional, is also coming. This is for the Windows 11 users. For Windows 10 you have to install it. Okay, but let's say if you don't got that option, so you may be getting this option. Let's say if I click on show more, so it will give you an option of git bash here or open with code. This option is coming up, right? So I will just click on open with code. So in this way I can see the brand new VS Code here. Okay, it is opening for the first time, and it is asking me to do your trust the author. So definitely I trust this author, so I will just, yes, I trust the author. I will just select that, and since I'm opening it for the first time, so it will just simply show me that what this version has, all the features it has. So I will just like close this, and again I will just simply close it. So let me also slightly zoom in a bit so that you can see clearly. So you can see on the left hand side we have whatever file we had, so it is already there. Okay, and like see, major things are like click on file. So from here you can just create, you can next new text file you can create, and you can create a new file of different types, and you can even open new window, or if you want to open a folder, okay, let's say project folder, so you can again you can do that. So there are these main options, and then apart from that we have terminal. From this you can access the terminal, which will help you to run certain code. Now on the left hand side you will see there are few more options. This is your explorer option. If you click it again, so this explorer will close, that is file explorer will close, and then you will have this search option is there, and then this is a source control. Source control is normally it is to like do the commits from here using user interface, and that is very easy to do. Next is about the extensions. That extensions means that these are some extra features that you can add by using these extensions. Okay, so let me show you that how many I normally use. If I click on extensions, so right now you can see that it will show me some popular extensions, okay, and some recommended ones. So first of all I will search for Git extension. So I will just search for Git. So you will see that there will be two good ones which will appear. One is about Git length, so I can just use it, and also this Git graph. So these two actually helps me a lot. It can show me that okay, what are the changes that I have done locally itself. So it is also very useful for me, so I will use it. Now once I started using it, so you will see that it will also tell me that okay, how to get started with this one, so I can read it. Right now it is not needed as of now. So these are the two main I use for the Git extensions. Now apart from that I also use tab 9, so which helps me to autocomplete most of my code, and it's also like you can use it as if you need. I will just click on it, install. So these are the three main ones that I use. Okay, now depending upon my use cases, normally I can choose for Python also. So Python, so the most recommended one is like this one by Microsoft. So I can just click on install. So actually it will tell me that linting, debugging, so all those things it can highlight, so that is why I'm installing it. Okay, and you can see it is the most downloaded one, almost 65 million. Okay, and there is one more is here which is an auto doc string, which you will be using at certain point of time, so you can even install that. So I can just click on this as well, so it will start installing. Okay, so this one is quickly done, and this is taking some amount of time. Okay, so now it is installed. So let me again go back to this option. So if I just click here, if I remove this search, so you will see that now we have 9 installations. Okay, we have done 9 installations, and other recommended one is actually it is telling you from GitHub itself, so you can, if you want, you can use it. Now let's go back to our file explorer. So you can see once I added extensions, you will see there are few more options are appearing, that is for Git length and also for the tab 9 AI instance. Now let's do one thing in the readme.md. I will do what, like I can add few instances, like let's say if you're adding some steps. So if I now save it, okay, so you can see that if I haven't saved it, so it will show me a white dot here. If I start saving it, so it will show me that once I save it, so that white dot will be gone. And you can see here it is also telling me some information that okay, you have done this changes 1 second ago, and it is an uncommitted change. That means you haven't made any change here. And once I done a save here, so you will see on the in front of readme.md there is a this is called as modified changes. Okay, so m means modification has been done into this file. Now similarly, let's create one more file here. So let's call it as a demo.py. Okay, so if I do this, so you will see that demo.py is actually like it's got created, and here in this one I will simply write, let's say print and demo. Okay, demo for, like, let's say example. So you can see that when I'm doing it, so it is also giving me certain changes. So let's say if I write here demo for exam, when I write examples, I can just simply press tab, so it will simply say that the auto completion is done. So if I don't want to use auto completion, so you can use any arrow key or anything, so it will not do the auto completion for you. Okay, now let me close this, so I can just now save it. Okay, so this is how this tab 9 can be helpful. Now there is one more thing that you should observe here. So at the bottom right corner you will see that the environment is selected by default to the base. Okay, sometimes it may also say that okay, the environment is not at all selected. So I can select on this one. So once I click on that, so you will see that there are different versions, like there are different environment it will show. Okay, so I can choose the one which is I'm using for this specific project. Okay, so let's say I'm using environment 1, so I will just choose environment 1 for this specific project. And now if I want to run this file, so I can simply go to the terminal and I can click on new terminal. So once I open a new terminal, so you will see that it is automatically activating the environment if you are using command prompt. Now normally what I do is I go for git bash. Okay, so for that I will just again put on this drop down. So I have an option of git bash, but it is not a default selected. So what I will do is I will just click on select default profile at the bottom, and from here I will just simply select git bash as my default like terminal. Now let's delete this and again open a terminal here. So you will see that now it will be opening my git bash. So right now you can see it is by default, it is activating my environment by this. Now what I can do is if I want to activate any other environments, let's say if I want to go back to conda activate base. Okay, so if I do this, it will give me, okay, it will activate it. Okay, but it's to some of you may not get this very easily. Okay, so for that what you will do is you will get a large prompt. Okay, so where it will say that okay, it is not activated. So for that what you will do is you can run this command called as conda init and then bash. So conda init bash means that you are installing you're initializing conda for this bash shell. Okay, so you have to do it for the once, and then it will say that like you have to restart it. So let me enter this, it should say that as well. So you can see that for changes to take effect, close and reopen the current shell. So I can just simply close it and I will open this terminal. Okay, so if I do this again, it will start activating the bash terminals. Okay, so you can see activating, and you will see that automatically the environment, it will change to the environment that you have selected at the bottom right corner. So now this was the basic setup. So now you can see that I have made I have created this demo.py which is untracked, and I have this readme.md which is modified file. So if I want to, if I click on this source control tab here, so let me click that. So once I do this, so you will see that these are the options changes which are appearing. So if I click on demo.py, so you will see that here itself I can understand that okay, what was the changes that has been done into demo.py since its creation. Okay, now if I click on readme.md, so you will see that what are the things that I have added into it. So that will also appear as a green. So in order to make the changes like to reflect into my remote repository also, so I have to make a commit. So before to make a commit, I have to stage these changes. Okay, that means these are the changes that are ready to be committed. So I will click on this plus signs twice for all of these. Okay, like for every individual file I will just click on plus, and then I can see here on the messages here, so I can provide a message here. So control plus enter. After passing a message, you can just enter control enter. Okay, so I will write here that let's say this is an update. Okay, so I will now press control and enter. So now since it was downloaded from a remote repository, so it will ask me to sync the changes. Okay, but if you have created it locally itself, okay, so in that case it will show you publish branch. So right now, since I have downloaded from the remote repository, or I have cloned this repository, so it is showing me to sync the changes so that these changes can be reflected onto the your remote server that is on GitHub repository. So let's click on sync. So if you're doing it for the first time, so it may ask you that action will pull and push the commits from and end to the origin main. Okay, so I will just simply say that okay, and if you don't want to see this again, so you can also click on okay, don't show again. So I will just click on okay for now. Okay, so now if you're doing for the first time, so it will ask you to sign in with the browser. Okay, so let's click on this. Now you can go to your browser, it should prompt. So you can see here it is prompting you that you should enter your user email address or username and then password. So my like username is demo c17hwke001 and password I will enter. So let's click on sign in. So you can see that it is asking me to authorize git credential manager, so I will authorize it. Okay, let's go back to again get this. So it is asking me to, would you like to code to periodically run a git fetch. That means it will keep on like fetching automatically, like periodically it will just keep on syncing your repository. So I can just click on yes. Okay, so right now you can see that it has, I think it has published the changes. So let's go to your browser and let's go to this repository and we can refresh it. Let's see whether we can see the changes or not. Yes, we can see the changes. So for the first time only it will ask you to authorize it, right? So that is the only thing that we have to do now. So in this way, you can see that whatever you are working locally, so you can push changes to the remote, and you can see here it says that 2 commits. So let's click on that. So you'll see the update that I have done, and the same message is now appearing here. So if I click on that, so I can see that, okay, in the 2 files we have made a changes. One was untracked and one was there was a change. So if you want to see them simultaneously together, so you can just simply click on split. Okay, so you will see that if I click on split, so it should show me that these 2 changes into simultaneously. So in readme.md as well as demo.py, you can see the changes simultaneously, right? So that is why this Git, GitHub and Anaconda and everything is being used, right? So this all appear in sync. So these all things you will learn in the course itself once we progress gradually. Okay, so before we jump into that, so we can also show, let's say if I can pull some more example. So let's go to the readme.md. Now this you will be using more oftenly, that is something called as Jupyter Notebook. So we can also run this here. So we can click on new file here. So let's give it an example as trial.ipynb. Okay, so if I press and enter here, so it will simply create a Jupyter Notebook here. And to access that Jupyter Notebook, so what I will do is I need to also install the notebook as well. So for that I have to run pip install notebook. So what this will do is it will install Jupyter Notebook in this particular environment. Okay, so it is collecting right now, it is installing, because it is needed actually. Whenever if you do not run this, so they will not be able to run this Jupyter Notebook in your VS Code itself. So let it install at the bottom, and on the right hand side in this Jupyter Notebook you will see that it is asking you to choose an environment. Okay, so if it is not selected, it will ask you. Okay, so if I click on this, it will again give me two options, that is base or environment one. So I can let it choose the actual one that was earlier selected, that is by default it is selected to environment one. And if you have already selected an environment for this particular project, so it will that will automatically pick up that environment. Okay, because we have already done it, so that is why it is showing you that environment 1 Python 3.18.8.13. Now for this to run this, you can simply write here print, and we can again just say that hi from Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so that is hi from Jupyter Notebook, and if you want to run it, so you can just click on this play button, or you can simply write shift plus enter. So if you do this, you will see the output here in a quick moment. So you can see immediately, you will be able to see the output of it. So that is the advantage of Jupyter Notebook. You can use it for a basic research or initial research. So now since we have made the changes and we have created this new file, so you will see that this will appear as an untracked file. So I can again click here, I will go to the source control tab, and I will just press a message that notebook added, and I will just press Control Enter, so it can automatically stage as well as commit, and it will commit all the files which will be present here into the changes tab. So if I want to commit everything together, so you can use this option. So Control Enter. So it says that you are having no stage changes to commit. Would you like to stage all your changes and commit them directly? So you can just click on yes, it will do that. And now it is again asking you to sync the changes. I will just again click on the sync changes. So it is asking that whether you would like to pull and push the commits. Why it is asking for the pull and push? It may be, so what happens, like there may be a possibility that you may have made a change directly into your GitHub repository, and that is not reflected into your local repository or locally. So in that case, we have to first of all pull the changes locally, and then after that only we will be able to push. So that is why it is asking you to do this. Okay, so let's click on OK, and you will see once it is done, so you will see the changes appearing there. It will reflect into your remote repository. So let's go back to the remote repository. So let's go to click on this demo, and again we will see that this, yes, we have trial.ipynb is appeared here. So let's click on that. So you will see that Jupyter Notebook will be rendering here in just a moment. So you can see it has simply printed same results that we have done locally. It is appeared here. So I think that's all for the basic installation and demo for this particular introduction. Okay, I hope you have at least gone through the basic idea that how I do a setup. Okay, how you can have as well you can do a setup. Okay, and we will be using this more oftenly in all the upcoming lectures. Okay, the same setup. And this, as you can see on the GitHub, is my main GitHub, that is C17 Hawk, and this demo will be removed. Okay, so it's a dummy one just for the demo purpose, so that is why I have created as a fresh, so that you guys can have a total understanding from scratch. So that's all for today. Okay, so see you all, and till then, keep on learning, keep on exploring.